Yeah, live. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to MUFC Realist TV. This is your host Jarvis Cocker, and tonight we will dive into the England game against Spain. Dreadful loss for the English fan, but a beautiful win for the Spanish fan base. It will be interesting to hear Stu Wally's take on it, and we have Tom Journalist one also. We'll also cover the friendly game with Man United against Rosenborg, 1-0 loss, and we will go through the latest with the transfers and the rumors. So stay tuned, and at the end of the show, we will do a Q&A, so get your questions in from the beginning. See you in a sec.
There is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission. If we wish to make it louder, we will bring up the volume. If we wish to make it softer, we will tune it to a whisper. We will control the horizontal. We will control the vertical. We can roll the image, make it flutter. We can change the focus to a soft blur, or sharpen to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit quietly and we will control all that you see and hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your television set. You are about to participate in a great adventure. You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind to...
Good evening, everybody. What a blooper of a start. I didn't know I was live. Something was wrong with the Twitter account. We couldn't go live on both Twitter and the YouTube show, but it is what it is. You know who it is. It's Jarvis, always doing the bloopers. But let's just get going with the show. So tonight we have a good show for you guys planned. We will talk about the Euro final with England and the loss, unfortunately, for my good friend Stu and Tom. They didn't feel, I think they felt a little bit down after yesterday's game, but it is what it is. And we will talk about the Rosenborg Man United friendly and the latest transfers. So first of all, big up, Stu. How you doing, my friend?
I am all right, buddy. Still love that intro. Still gives me goosebumps. I love that. No, I'm good. We had our, I won't go into the match. We had our first pre-season friendly yesterday, which was quite interesting because we're obviously testing out our fitness and our inability to play football, whether that still existed. Which
I'm guessing you have been training really hard off season to be prepared.
Well, I've started running, so I've invested in a decent pair of running shoes. So I try. I'm not a runner, by the way, but so I try and run about 5-6 miles a week, just to keep me going. Try and cycle about. So if I run on the Saturday, I'll try and cycle about 80 miles on the Sunday if I can, and then obviously my gym work and football work during the week. So I try and keep myself fit. So fitness wise, it was all right yesterday, but just a bit off the pace, I think, with first touch and our passing ability. So we went down to a team 2 leagues above us, 3-1. So it's not too bad.
Yeah.
So I was quite pleased with how we played, really. So we're going a week off. So we're just going to train this week. So we got nothing this weekend, and then we got another friendly around the 28th. And then we'll start to really pick it up between then and the start of the season, I think it's mid-August for us. So yeah, okay. Apart from that, and of course, I thoroughly enjoyed the Euros. Some of the games are absolutely brilliant. I thought it was a really good example of how even football is. If you kind of, Stu, I think you lost. I have lost a bit of weight. Yes, yeah, I've tried to do a. Yeah, Lilith, I think you've lost a bit of weight. I have, yes, not too much, just a few pounds, but I'm trying to tighten up a bit here, trying to be a bit more toned up here. But I've still got a fat belly. That's why it's all up. Well, I can't do anything like that. I have to cover mine when Jarvis is around. I can't be doing all that, you know, and all the how it is, you know.
Yeah, I know, I know.
Yes, I can't do all that. So
Over there.
oh well,
over there.
I just haven't got it. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. So yeah, so I've lost it. So thanks, Lillis, for noticing that. That was also being starved of grub in Barcelona because it was mainly alcohol.
Yeah.
That we had out of there.
It doesn't make wonders for your fitness, you know, going on a bender for 2-3 days in Barcelona.
Do you know it does help? I mean, I went to the gym this morning, and I get there for about 7 o'clock, 10 to 7, something along those lines. And the first set is always, oh God, terrible. He is like Rambo, isn't he? The first set's always terrible. You're there, you're like going,
Yeah,
like that to get it above. And then so you do that about 10, 12 times. And you have a 30-second break and do the same reps 12 times. You do that four times, then you have a minute, and then you do it again. So I kind of like, I'm a bit stiff, but all good. I watched the game last night with the family, which was nice. With my lad as well, so he was enjoying it. But I did predict we would lose, unfortunately, not because England never win. I just thought that all in all, Spain were a better organised side than what we were. But I tell you, the meltdown in the UK today, I don't know how many fans VARers are from the UK, but the meltdown from the UK today was just ridiculous. Everybody calling for Southgate's head, saying we've got no style of play. Gary Neville, they jumped onto his comments about we weren't able to control the ball. And I reiterate it once again, Jarvis, as I always do. Why do you need to tell a grown man, or why does a grown man need to look to be told what to do during a game of football? These guys have been playing the game since they were 6 years old. A lot of them, they're, you know, decades. There's treble winners in there. There's Champions League winners in there. There's FA Cup winners in there. Premier League winners up there. These guys know how to win football matches. And for the I'm going to say it, unfortunately, I apologise, Jarvis, but the Goldbridges of this world who know fuck all about football at all. He just doesn't. He just talks and he rambles like an absolute moron. Knows fuck all about football. To then just totally put the blame onto Southgate. It just fascinates me how these idiots can be listened to by the masses when they know absolutely everything. So, I was very, very proud as an Englishman this morning. We've done something we've never done before in this country, and that's to reach 2 finals of a major tournament. And it's the first time we've ever reached the final overseas. We've always reached them in the UK. So we've reached the final overseas, and we haven't been able to get over that line. We haven't played particularly well during this tournament, and I think there's a lot of mitigating factors. You know, a few of the squad were 100% carrying injuries. I know Jude himself was carrying a shoulder injury. I could tell you that for a fact. Okay. It looked like that Kane was carrying some kind of injury, whether it was a back injury or a muscle injury of some description. Carl Walker wasn't moving at his best. John Stones wasn't moving at his best. But I will tell you one thing that was absolutely clear to me. The likes of Foden, the likes of Carl Walker, the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold, they cannot play outside the system of their club.
I agree. They're system players, 100%.
They cannot play outside that club. When you have the likes of Cole Palmer that comes in, totally changes games. Ollie Watkins that comes in and does something with, you know, with his pace and a willingness to run in behind. You've got to look at some of these players that are starting, and you've got to take them out of the equation. As it happens, John Stones played pretty well. He had a pretty good tournament, but he's still a system player under Guardiola. I thought Mark Gay, however you pronounce his surname, I thought by far he was our standout player. Apart from Cole Palmer when he came on, I thought Cole Palmer was terrific. I think he's a brilliant player anyway. But to give him a bit pass, to keep the likes of Foden on, to keep the likes of Jude on, to keep likes of Harry Kane on to an extent. I know it's a different position, and then just drag off Kobe Mainoo, who probably had a bigger influence on that particular match, certainly than Foden, and in parts Jude for me. Saka, I thought again quiet. So Jarrod Bowen didn't even see a minute. I don't recall he saw him. He might have done, but I don't recall him seeing a minute. Ivan Toney, it's too late. So these players have to take the responsibility. They've got to be able to come out and say, hold on, we've had our instructions before the game. We've had our instructions throughout the week of training. We didn't, as players, put that into practice on the pitch. And so the Southgate haters and Southgate rumor, people today, just take a deep breath. We haven't been there at all since 1966, and now we reached 2 major finals. It's not Southgate that doesn't get you over the line. It's the players. It's the players that don't get you over the line. It's our inability to score goals from open play. It's our inability to defend. But when you've got Nico Williams piling at you all the time, that Yana, Yamal, him having to go. I thought Luke Shaw curtailed him pretty well, but it only takes, when you've got a player of stature, it only takes one little minute to drift by you, and then Carl Walker and John Stones are in no man's land. Nico Williams takes the ball; he's always going to score. So, and that Cucurella cross, by the way, you can't defend that. If Gay gets in front of Alathabal, bang, he scores anyway. Gay puts it in the back of his net. So it's just one of those things. Very, very proud to be English today. We got the piss ripped out of us from opposing fans, and so they should do. But we got to a final, and nobody else has. So not a bad week really for Manchester United players on international duty. Obviously, Leacher and Garnacho. Fortuitously, took the Copa America, didn't they? And we could well have, if the dice had fallen in our way, we could well have taken the European Championship. So I'm happy. I really am happy this morning. So, hi Tom, good to see you, mate.
Yeah, evening, gents.
Tom, before we go to you and say hello, I just want to say hi to the VAR because we haven't got to that yet. And I just want to say hi to Janvik, Lilis, we have Lucky Singh in the house, Neil Driscoll, the Bootinator, big up Bootinator. Who else do we have here? I see Neil Driscoll don't want to talk about the Euros. Yeah, we will just cover it shortly and move on to Man United stuff. So just be patient, Neil. We will finish the Euros for now. Jamie Wayne is in the house. Nick Nash, Bacon Buddy, Sanjay Ramatar. Who else do we have here? Royden Frost. Royden, of course. Big up Royden. And, well, let's see. Do we have anyone else? Jale Malmin is in the house from Norway with his pepperoni pizza and his everything with his meals and food. He's a foodie. Jale Malmin. So big up, guys. We will do a Q&A later. So if you know the drill, put the Q at the end of your at the beginning of your question and bring it. So we will try to address it at the end of the show. And today we will do a long Q&A. So we will answer all your questions. So just bring them in. And we have John Kermode. I see him coming in the chat. Big up, Johnny K. So Tom, did you see the game yesterday? And how do you feel? Was it deserved Spain won the game, or do you think Southgate bottled it, or what happened?
I think there's probably 3 reasons why England lost the game. Spain, the whole tournament, I think have been immense. I don't think they've really put a foot wrong the whole tournament. I think the players, some of them, I will name names, I don't think turned up when the going got tough and it was a big game and the pressure was on them, especially in that second half. First 2-3 minutes in that half, I don't know where the heads were at. Maybe they were still sat in the dressing room. I don't know what. It was gone. And then again, I don't think they understood the occasion of playing in the final. And I also think that the managers, tactical decision in this game probably got found out, because as soon as he took Harry Kane, the way that Spain played the game, guys, they loved having Harry Kane on that field more than they would having Watkins or probably Watkins, not having Tony, because I think Tony's a little bit similar to Kane. Probably Watkins, because Kane is not going to stretch the game. He's not going to make you run. You're not going to put long balls and he's going to run in behind, or you're going to run out wide. He's not going to drag the pitch. He's not going to drag players about. He is play it into him, almost use him as a basketball, and he'll feed you the ball back and try and link play up. That's how you were going to play. But the problem with England was it was never going to work, and it's not worked for most of the tournament with Kane, because you don't have clinical players, or the way that England have played for most of the tournament, they don't go for teams. I said this at the last Euros in that final. They bottled it. They absolutely bottled it. Italy in that final, there was crap. They was absolutely rubbish in that final completely. Spain, to all their credit, I thought they were actually pretty decent guys. But they were decent because they were comfortable. They were so comfortable in the game. Harry Kane, you play the ball to him, you know what he's going to do. You put Watkins on the field, guys, in 10 minutes. I saw what he was doing. Dragging the centre-back out to the left-back position, right-back position, come deep, put balls in behind. It was working. You could see that thing. The Spanish defence, they didn't know what they were doing. They were so uncomfortable. They was in that complex, comfortable position, guys. As soon as they brought Watkins on and balls were going over the top, you could see Laporte, you could see Norman. There was crap in it. They was absolutely worried to death, because Spain, they have to hold the high line for their system to work with pressing. But when you were putting balls over the top, guys, and we see this week in, week out in the Premier League when teams play City, when you put a ball over the top, what are they doing? What does City always do, guys? They run back 20 yards to their own goal. That's the way that Spanish teams play, and that's how Spanish coaches coach their teams to play. The difference was for us, guys. I don't think defensively they were terrible. I actually don't. England. I thought they defended the game quite well. All things considered, well, he was 16 years old. He's now 17. A 17-year-old wonder kid in Yamal, who I think will be a top player going forward. He's almost in that Messi sort of pirouette at Barcelona. They had it a couple of years ago with Gavi and Pedri, and they've sort of transitioned to midfielders rather than being wingers. But he's an out-and-out winger and a proper playmaker. Nico Williams, for me, I've said about him for a long time. There's two wingers that I've always raved about for the last couple of years. Was Michael Elise and Nico Williams. I rate both of the players very highly. They can take players on. They're not afraid to run at people. The difference with us is, guys, when we went to go down in the game, we actually went for them, Spain. We had a good 10-minute spell where we went for them. We actually run at them. As soon as Saka or, Foden, whoever got the ball and they were in a wide area, they ran at players. We didn't do that for 90 minutes. We've not done that for 90 minutes the whole tournament. So, at the end of the day, the way that I saw it was, I think a couple of the players, I will name some names now. I don't think I agree what you guys have just said. Kyle Walker and John Stones, for me, I think they are club players. I don't think they can hack international instructions. The way international football works, you have a system and a style that you play with your national team, and the style that they're used to with City is how that Spanish team played last night. That's how they're used to playing. A high line, a hybrid, control of the ball, discipline. But the way that this English side play, our better work is when we press teams, we win the ball higher up the end of the field, and we try and transition on you. That's not what those guys are meant to do. That's not the way that they've played their careers for so many 5-6 years now with Pep at City. They're not used to it. That's the difference. And that's why when they put an England shirt on, they shy away from it because they're not used to that expectation. But players like Mark Gay, for example, guys, when he plays at Crystal Palace under Roy Hodgson and stuff for the last couple of years, he will understand that way of playing. To be defensively solidified, to be in the right areas, to put a block in. He'll understand how that sort of system plays. And that's why he shone out yesterday. Kobe Mino, exactly the same thing. Shone out because he knows where the spaces are in midfield, guys. He's used to drifting away from players here and there and that little turn that he does. But my big issue anyway, that I'm going to say for it anyway, is he's been to 2 finals, a semi-final and a quarter-final. He's been to 4 major tournaments, Gareth Southgate. Now, I think he's been here. What is it? 6 years or 8 years? I can't remember.
It's 8 years, isn't it?
8 years.
Yeah.
He's been here 8 years now. He's had 2 contracts as England FA coach now. I think it is time that we move him on. Personally, I think I would rather a new coach come in and give it a go, because these players, I think they've got the right mentality on their own that I think they could get to a final on their own. I don't think they need drilling or coaching or anything, because there's far too many talented players for them not to have that one bit of moment of brilliance, guys, and you score a goal from it, or you deflect a goal, or you stop a goal from happening. There's far too many top players in this squad that can get you so far. But when it comes down to it, and you need to make these big calls and decisions, a proper coach yesterday, guys, a tactical coach would have looked at that game and said, Harry Kane does not suit playing against this Spanish side. And he doesn't. The best way that you can kill teams like them, teams like Spain, is you play with a player who's going to stretch the game and stretch the pitch about. And what years ago, Spurs were the killer team for Manchester City for years. And Pep never got his head around it, because Kane never was brilliant in Spurs versus Manchester City games. He wasn't. But the player who outshone him was Heung-min Son, because he can stretch the pitch. He can stretch the wave play, and he drags players out of position. It doesn't suit that playing a Spanish side, and that's why Spain, they absolutely worry when they play teams like that who can do that to you. They have players who are manoeuvrable and who can drift into spaces and pockets, because they've got to follow you. They've got to follow you if they want to win the ball. That's the difference. So for me, I've named some names in the whole squad. I think Harry Kane, for me, guys, as much as he can have, a 30-year goal, 30 goals every single season for Bayern Munich or whoever, he's at the age of 30. I think his best days are going to be behind him going forward now. When you get to the next World Cup in 2 years' time, he'll be 32. I don't think he's going to offer you a lot different from what he is doing right now. I've seen enough. I think we've got a decent young squad still right now of players that are still going to develop in 2 years. Likes of your Palmers, your Mark Gays, they're only going to get better. Yeah. And I think in that 2 years period, guys, when you can go from this Euros to the World Cup, I think you can have a new coach come in. I think they can work on these players in a different style of play. And the one thing that I just want for this team is, I just want us to use our talent, guys. If we lose a game 3-0, I can accept it. But I want us to play open football. Play a bit open. Take a couple of risks. If you're going to win anything, guys, you're going to have to take some risks along the way. We didn't really take many risks. We got lucky with the Slovenia game. We got lucky in a couple of the other games, extra time and blah, blah, blah. And we almost, cut our way to the final. We didn't deserve to be in the final in the first place with the way that we played for most of the tournament. So for me, I think anyway now, it's a time where you transition it over. The club, the England national team, men's team anyway, 8 years ago it was toxic. Fair enough, Gareth Southgate, he's put it on the map again. He's got people behind the country again. Where you want to go to a tournament, you actually support your country because you've got a belief that you can win. But you can have a belief that you can win. There's believing that you can win, and there's actually winning. He's got them to a point where they all believe that they're going to win, and I think England will win a tournament eventually. They've got too much talent in this squad not to win something. Whether it the Nations League, the Euros at some point, the World Cup, they will win a tournament. But you can't win. But you won't win a tournament with Gareth Southgate as the manager, because when it comes to big decisions, he won't make the right calls. He's had 2 tournaments where he's had big decisions to make. In the final, when he played against Italy, he could have played a completely different starting lineup. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we played Rashford in the final. I don't think we played Sancho. I think we played Saka on the right hand side. And then substitutions in the game, he didn't get them right. Fair enough, yesterday he got them right, guys, but it was the wrong timing. It was too late. You should have brought Ivan Toney on with 30 minutes to go, not 5 minutes. What's he going to do in 5 minutes? Nothing. He can't influence a game. So I would move him on. I would go in a different direction and see where it lands you in 2 years' time. But I think a proper coach out there, and I'm not bothered about this English thing. Yeah? Go and hire a European coach. I'm not bothered about that. You can go and hire a European coach for all I care. I'm not bothered. And play them in a completely different style you're used to. But he's got them to a place now where these players, we can see now, without a proper coach, they can get to finals. They can get so far in tournaments. So when they actually have a proper coach who will make decisions to benefit the team and benefit them, then we'll see where it can take them. I know, and I believe anyway, if they get a proper coach who will do that for a lot of these players, it will get them over the line because there's winners in that team. There is winners in that team, guys, at club level. And you can take those winners at club level and win them onto it.
Yeah, I agree. Janvik comes in almost half an hour now, and when you say United talk, lol, question mark. Yeah, we will go to the United talk now.
Yeah, go on.
We just have to get this out of our heart, when it comes to the England. We are done with the Euros. We lost, or England lost, and that's it. Spain was the better team, and I agree with you, Tom. England. Most likely didn't even deserve to go to the final, but they did, and they played as good as they could, and they went for it on 1-0 and got the equalizer. But after that, I think they tried to
Jarvis, just to probably round up on this whole England thing, because I know people in the comments want to move on and we'll talk Man United. What would you do with Gareth Southgate? You're like a neutral here. You're not an Englishman. You're almost a neutral ground in it. What would you think they should do after he's had 8 years and 4 tournaments now?
Yeah, I think it's time for him to go. But it's just my opinion, because I see all the talents in this England squad. So many talented players, so many players who like to go into attack. They can dribble. They have extremely good technique. They are experienced on a high level. They win Premier Leagues, Champions League finals. They play in top leagues like Bellingham in Real Madrid. We should expect more from this England team. They are playing as they are, I would say, worse than the opposition. But if you go player for player, they are not. In my estimation, they should be able to go toe-to-toe against a team like Spain. They should be able to express themselves. They should be able
They've
to.
got young players. That's what. Yeah. That's what I'm saying, James. They've got a new generation there. They've got players like Rodri and stuff. You saw that kid that come off the bench, that Zubimendi. He's a like-for-like replacement, is he not? He can tick the ball around for fun. Does basically what Rodri normally does, maybe on a lower degree, but he can develop to do that. You've got Yamal and Nico Williams. God help the world at international tournaments when you play Spain, because those two wingers they're Spain's wingers for 10, 12 years. Yeah. And that's the difference. But we have a squad now. You have Saka. You have players like Foden, Cole Palmer and stuff, guys. These players, they should be here for 10 years. But they're already halfway through that 10-year period. And they've won nothing yet. So we can't waste time on this generation at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I would say that Luis de la Puente, the manager of Spain, when he took over the Spanish team, they played their first game against Norway. And it was a whole different team. They didn't look nowhere near the team that we saw yesterday, because the Spanish team looked like a team. They have an idea. They have an identity of how they want to play. And you could see it. So he has, during his tenure, developed this team to
and
be
it's not a typical
Spanish.
It's not a typical Spanish style.
No, but you haven't seen Southgate doing this for 8 years. Okay, his results looks good. The 2 finals, and they always go deep into tournaments. So I'll give him that. But I would like to see this English team
evolve. Is the word.
Evolve. Yeah. So that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah.
So let's just end the Euro bubble for now. 4 years until next time.
It's done.
And before we go to United, I just want to mention one thing. Argentina won against Colombia this night in the Copa de America, and what a team! Licha winning second Copa America. He won the FA Cup, the League Cup. He's won several trophies at Ajax. That guy is a winner. He's doing great. Stu, what do you think of Licha?
Well, I think he's great. I like him. He's my type of player. He's aggressive. He's arrogant, but he can back it up. We haven't had this aggression at centre half or anywhere in the club for a long, long time. Roy Keane, Yapstam, Vidic, Stevie Bruce, very aggressive. But we've had a lovely complement player alongside them like Pallister, Rio Ferdinand, etc. They complemented these. Ronnie Yson complemented Stam,
Yes.
And in many ways, Varane and Leach are a similar pairing in terms of the way they operate. I'll be interested to see. I mean, there's a couple of questions on it in the Q&A, so we'll leave that my thoughts on how our setup for then. But looking at bits and pieces of the game last night, Colombia were very unfortunate. Colombia are a very, very good side, very attacking side. I watched them beat Uruguay when we were out in Barcelona, and I think they destroyed. I can't remember who it was. I was a bit inebriated at the time, so I can't remember who it was. But I think they went in at halftime 3-0 against one particular side. So they're a very attacking and very fluid team, and they were very unfortunate not to get a penalty kick in the game, which looked to me an absolute stone wall. And I think the only downside for Argentina is Messi's come out with a knee injury by looks of things. I think he went to clear a ball, or he was tackled and he jarred his knee from what I can see. But great to see Leach, great to see Garnacho picking up another trophy.
Yes.
We need that. We need Leach and we need Garnacho winning trophies at international level, because that feeds the hunger. But it doesn't kill the hunger, it just feeds it, and it just keeps it manifesting. So that all you want to do, Rich, how are you? Which is all you want to do. You want to go in and you want to win more and win more and win more. And you need players in your team where 6 trophies just isn't enough. I need 12 trophies. Then when you get to 12 trophies, it's not enough. I need 18. And this is that mentality that these two have got. So, like you say, Leeches, I think he's won a trophy in the last 6 years, hasn't he, of some description, whether it be at international level or whether it be at club level. And it's the same for Garnacho. Phil Foden, he won 5 Premier Leagues. He's got a treble under his belt, FA Cups, etc., World Club Cups. And he's 22, 23, whatever. We need those players with that hunger, that drive, and that desire. That winning just isn't enough. It's just not enough for me to win. I got to keep going. I've got to win more. And they're not bothered about individual awards either. They're just worried about the collective. So yeah, I absolutely love Leach. I think he's absolutely brilliant. I want him to keep his hair his natural colour. Stop dyeing it. Just do it more, play normal. Same with Garnacho, just play normal football, appear normal, and just enjoy it. Because football, Leach, if you look at him just recently, the last 18 months, we've struggled with injuries. If we can keep him fit this season, it will be a huge fillip for it. It's like having that new signing of anger.
But the thing is, too, it doesn't look like he has declined during his injury. He came back to the Copa America, and he's been a fantastic
winners
for Argentina.
I've said this before, Jarvis. Winners don't decline. Winners get stronger. People like Martial, bless him, like Varane to an extent, bless him. They've got this thing in their brain where, I felt a bit of a twinge, so I can't do it. Winners play through the twinge. Winners. I mean, crikey, I'm not saying anything here, but I played on for 15 minutes with a broken arm once, and my fucking arm was blue, and somebody had to tell me, well, you break your arm. I'm fucking out. Didn't realise, because the adrenaline, it just carries you through. And we need this. And if we get Ligt, he's a similar type of player. He's aggressive, but he's more of a ball player. So I'm quite looking forward to seeing him. Don't know too much about Yoro. I've seen him a few times. I'll be interested to see how he would fit into the system. I've got my thoughts on that, which I'll share later. But I'd love to be. I would love. Me and Leach would never work anyway, because we're both the same. We'd end up both going for the same player. And making sure that we double team him.
Are you saying you're Leacha? You're the same player.
I'm probably a bit more dirty than he is. I've got no no qualms. I'll just go through somebody and ruffle their hair as I walk past them after doing it. Like Leach, at least he'll do the same actually. When I would. No, I model my game actually because I started out live as a central defensive midfielder, and Paul Ince and Roy Keane were the players I used to look up to. Paul Ince in particular, I used to love the way that he played, the way that he used to drive the ball, but fucking hard in a tackle. That's where I used to be. So I used to be the enforcer. If there was a playmaker on the opposition, it would be my responsibility to snuff him out. And then as soon as I got the ball, I'd just get rid of it to one of our players, and away we go. And then as I moved into centre half, I adopted a similar attitude. I love a wrestle, I love a scrap, I love a fight, and that's not always the best way. And that's why you need that complement. So if you're going against somebody like Troy Deeney would love to a centre half like me, but I hate a centre half like Rio Ferdinand, for example. Or Rafael Varane, because he's not being grabbed around the throat, because that's what he likes. He likes to be grabbed around the throat. And the very best central defenders, the very, very best central defensive midfielders like Rodri, they look and they analyze their opposition, and you don't tailor make your game to them. You change with your partner to say, well, look, he likes a fight, so he's no good for me. I want somebody who doesn't want to fight all the time, who I can bully and punish. Whereas Troy Deeney, he'll be looking to bully and punish me. You need a different type of player. You need a player with finesse around him, because he's got nowhere to go then if he's not being kicked and stuff. So, there is a bit of an art to a partnership, to a central defensive partnership. And it isn't just about a left footer or a right footer. It's to marry the two up together. So having Leacher in our team just reminds me of why I play football, what I love to do, how I love to play football.
But Stu, what I would say when it comes to Licha is his ability to play on the edge, but never go on the other side. We have had centre backs, as for example Eric Bailly, Rojo, always crazy. You didn't know if they were going to get a red card or not. They were playing over the edge all the time. But Licha, he knows exactly where to go. Sometimes he play hard, but never. You almost never get booked.
He knows the limits.
He plays so tough, so hard.
Licha's very good at reading the game. So when you watch him play, you'll see sometimes he'll get tight, sometimes he'll drop off. He's very good at reading the game. So whoever comes into his zone, his area, he'll make that decision then as to how do I need to get tight to him, or do I need to drop off 1 or 2 yards. Actually, I very rarely get booked or sent off, Jarvis, because I do it behind the ref's back most of the time.
I was going to say, because they don't see you.
Yeah, exactly. So I do a lot while the ref isn't looking. And then when the ref does look, my arms are up saying, fucking hell, do you see that ref? He's fucking backing in. He's elbowing me and all this when I'm making him elbow, because I'm fucking hitting him and moving my knees into him and pushing him and pulling him and calling him whatever, Yeah, but I yes, you do. Yes, I tend to take my whip out there with me and all that kind of stuff. I get my gear out with me. I actually have a gimp mask which I took in my shorts ready to put on, just at the bottom. And that's what you do. And Tom, was when he was going through his analysis about the game. Actually, we don't do that. We don't run the dark arts of football very, very well. And Manchester United hasn't run the dark arts of football very, very well. And you're right about Leacher. He runs the dark arts at the right times, and he plays football at the right times. It's a wonderful gift to have. It really is. I think he's a phenomenal player. I was so chuffed when I woke up this morning and you see that picture of Leacher holding the 2 Copa Americas. I would have loved it better if Canacho was in there with him. I'd liked it if Canacho was in there with him and I think Canacho's only got the one, hasn't he? Because obviously he wasn't there for the last one, was he?
He only got the one. This one.
Yeah. Well, only one, but that's all that matters. Just look at that kit. Just look at that kit, though. Look at that kit. It's amazing, isn't it? I love the Argentina shirt. It's my favourite international shirt. It's just there's something about it, isn't there? And absolutely look at him. Get his head shaved. Get it back to his normal colour. Perfect.
His head shaved.
He'd look good with a head shave, though, wouldn't he? He would look good with a head shave. But the problem is, though, that Messi gets all the plaudits, doesn't he? For Argentina.
Yeah, of course.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
As much as we love Messi, we do, but he gets all the, all the plaudits, and it's such a shame.
Yeah, but he didn't contribute much this tournament. He had 1 goal and 1 assist, I believe.
He's not been playing well. He's not been playing well for Inter Miami, has he, by all accounts?
I don't follow American football, but yeah.
Johnny K, tell us. Johnny K, has he been playing well for Inter Miami?
Quality drop off though in the league. That's probably what you could maybe put it down to.
It happens. Yeah,
it's like the guys that have gone over to Saudi Arabia and stuff. You don't hear about Sadio Mane anymore. You don't hear about Ruben Neves. You don't hear about you didn't hear about Jordan Henderson when he was there. The Englishman lost in the desert. You didn't hear about these people.
No, it's true. It's true.
That's just the quality drop off with that league.
I will say one thing with Spain though, Tom. I did think it was ironic they've got 2 French centre backs. I think that's hilarious.
Well, we can't really make it.
No, we can't.
You've got Jack Grealish, who's got an Irish sort of connection. We stole him from the Irish team. We did the exact same thing with Declan Rice. I think I don't know what connection it is. I think it's his.
He's Irish as well.
I think it's his grandparents that are Irish or whatever, and the roots that he always went through the Irish system instead of the English one, and well, we know what fucking happens there. But we won't go into it. But I'll probably just touch briefly on it anyway with Argentina. I think they're a decent squad. Somebody put a comment up earlier with Messi where Messi before he met Lionel Scaloni, he'd never won any of the major tournaments that they could. That they always compete in, like the Copa America or anything, because Argentina never had a competent coach who was tactical. He also understood it from a player's perspective, but he also represented the country well as a manager or as a coach. England, that's what I'm saying that we don't have right now. We have a manager right now who he understands the expectations of being in big situations or big pressures. Jesus Christ, he missed a penalty. In probably arguably an iconical moment in the whole English national team's football federation. It's a big moment that happened in his own career, but in history, and he can't go back and he can't change that. He understands it from a player's perspective. He's a compatriot of the country that he's from, and he represents as well. But he lacks the tactical ability. That's the problem, and he's not a competent coach. The difference with Scaloni is. He's a competent coach. He understands the game. He studies it well. The difference is Messi in that tournament, guys, he's not played very well. That's their best player. And they've still won that tournament. Harry Kane, you could argue, is England's best player. He's not played well the whole tournament. We somehow got to the final. The difference is Scaloni coaches the other players around, like some Garnacho Martinez, Rodrigo de Paul, Romero, he coaches these players in such a systemised way that they can work together. When you think about it, guys, a match made in hell for me as a defensive partnership would be Martinez and and Christian Romero. At Spurs.
Romero.
Two hot heads, two proper physical players. You'd think, Jesus Christ, I'm not going to have centre backs left at 90 minutes. That's the way that you would think. But the difference is he disciplines these players properly, so he knows it's your turn to have a bite at a player. It's you take it in turns. You drop off like Stu said, or you stick tight to players. They read the game well, but he's coached them to do that at international level. But the difference is, guys, Martinez was used to that at Ajax, so he's going to understand that very well at Argentina. Christian Romero, when he was at Atalanta, you do that a lot in Italy. You drop off or you go direct with players. That's how Italian centre-backs work and they model in game. So he understands that. So transitioning that to the national team is easy. But what we were just talking about before with Stones and Walker, you can't take what they do at City and then suddenly go to England and it's going to work in the same way. They're not used to playing that way. They're not. But the problem is because it's England and they're almost the golden boys of the England generation, because they've been there for years or whatever, they're experienced players, they don't get criticised. It's rubbish. But then you want to go off onto it and say that, Kobe Mino, gets hacked off the field and everything because apparently he was the worst player on the field. It was far worse. He was the best midfielder. Stu said it earlier anyway. with Bellingham and everybody. That Bellingham, guys, he's had a good season for England. Can't do it. He can't do it because he's not used to playing the way. He's not used to playing that way. But like I said with the Argentina squad, anyway, I think they're a very good squad. And you know something? When you go to any tournament against that team, I think anyway in the next 4 years, the next World Cup they'll be favourites, with or without Messi, because of the way that they play and the way that they're disciplined. But you could also make an argument that they probably should win every couple of Copa Americas. And just on Colombia as well, guys. I like Colombia as a nation. I think they are a decent team. Even a couple of years ago at that World Cup in 2018 in Russia, I thought they played very well against England. I did, and they weren't as developed as what they are now. But for all the talents, guys, and they lack talent in some areas in that squad. They do, in comparison to what say Argentina have. They have a player for every position. They lack quality in some positions, but the difference is they're coached in a way that they can get the best out of one another. And like you guys were just saying, they were like, 3-0 up at half time on one of the finishes.
I can't remember who it was against, but I mean,
that's it. It comes down to coaching and development. But I'm happy for our boys, Garnacho and Martinez as well.
Yeah. But I just want to mention one guy no one spoke about. That was James Rodriguez on Colombia. What a tournament! 33 years old now. I think he plays in Brazil for São Paulo or something like that. He went away after Everton. We went to Olympiacos and then he went back to South America. Wow, what a player! He has had a fantastic tournament. Player of the tournament.
He did. He got player of the tournament, didn't he? Yeah. It was good to see.
He's good. Yeah. The thing with James, though, guys, I think he's kind of like that player that we see every couple of there's always one player in the tournament that shines out from the rest, isn't there? He was that player in 2014. 2018, you could make a case for any of the French squad. They was all brilliant. You could make a case at the Euros. It was Locatelli of Italy. He was that standout player.
He was,
In Qatar, who could you maybe... Any of the Moroccan players, you could probably say, were standout players. Amrabat, again. Highlight players in that tournament. Again, in this tournament, you'd probably say that young kid, Yamal, Musiala maybe, a couple of the younger players in the team. Nico Williams is another, And
was it 96? Was it 96, Tom, with the great Karol Poborski? Was it 96 or was it earlier?
96, yeah.
96.
The great Poborski. But he fits into your narrative there, doesn't he?
That's what I'm talking about. But James, again, he's been at so many clubs, guys. It's never worked for him, really. Let's face it, it's not. He was at Monaco. He was decently settled. Went to Madrid. Didn't live up to the hype that he was supposed to have been.
Never worked.
I think a lot of people paid a lot of attention to that wonder goal he scored in 2014 against Brazil. That one wonder goal hit the sort of league light. It was supposed to come to us supposedly. It didn't end up coming, did he? He went to Madrid.
Yeah, we were in for him.
At the end of the day, he's kind of one of those. If you put a Colombia shirt on, he represents the country quite well. He's a good player. But at club level, he might
you
not
have
do
some
it.
players like that, and you actually have one on Argentina too. Angela Di Maria, always playing good at Argentina, and he retired now. It was his last game. There was a final. We retired with a win. 37 years old. Wow, what a career! Even though it ended badly at Man United, and I know we as United fans hate him because what happened, but you got to respect his career.
As a football. Interestingly enough,
his accolades as what he's done. Yeah.
The point you're making is relatively poignant because Lamar popped his goal in the semi-final, didn't he? That running off the post, but and I get it. I get all the hype. I do. But I did make the point that a very player called Anthony put one in similar for Manchester United in the early part of his career. Do you remember? And I made this point to my friend. They're going, well, what's your point? I said, I'm just saying players do that.
Against Barcelona,
Yeah, if he does that every game, fair enough. But Anthony's done it. And what's the difference between, and that's how football is, isn't it? Football is about that. That's where the debate comes. Now, actually, as it happens, Tom, I think that kid will be a very, very good player. I think he's
at Barcelona. I can already see what's going to happen there. He's at Barcelona. They'll lock him down. £1 billion release clause. Never leave the club, never leave the country.
Correct.
Do everything the Spanish way. That's exactly how that kid will be done.
But he's got that goal, and yet we forget that Anthony popped in something similar for us, and we deride Anthony, don't we? It's amazing, isn't it, how people view football?
Yeah.
I just wanted to make that point because you made a really good point that every tournament somebody comes out. For me, team of the tournaments, and I've got to say it, I thought were Albania. Oh, they're absolutely phenomenal, fantastic team. Loved watching them play. Really enjoyed it. I enjoyed
Georgia when with the Kvaratskhelia.
I enjoyed Georgia as well.
Yeah.
Loved watching them play. Slovenia
Turkey weren't that bad guys either.
Turkey were very good. Slovenia and Serbia weren't brilliant, but they played a good level of football. Really decent level of football. Romania at times, just on the odd occasion, looked well beaters, and that's what I've enjoyed more actually about this tournament than anything. So it'll be interesting to see what happens because next it's the Euros in whenever it is 28, isn't it? That's the big Euros. Is it that 64 teams or something stupid like that?
I think they're changing the rules of it. Yeah,
they're changing the rules.
Hopefully Norway can qualify for once.
Well,
64 teams. Maybe we have a chance in hell. Maybe Holland and Odegaard.
I'm actually waiting for Norway to kick off because, to kick through because Denmark and Sweden haven't kicked through for a long time either. By the way, so you're not on your own.
Zlatan retired. They haven't.
They haven't kicked on. And Iceland have
they've got some good players.
Yeah, Iceland have gone backwards, haven't they? We're not. We're probably
the last natural. Yeah, some of these
imagine Norway with our attacking lineup. We have Antonio Nusa, we have Oscar Bob, we have Haaland, we have Odegaard behind, and we have Alexander Sørloth as backup for Haaland. Second goal scorer in Primera División in Spain,
you, isn't it?
And we can't even qualify with that lineup.
It's depth, though, isn't it? Squad depth for you, isn't it? That's the problem. You haven't got the squad depth. You need somebody to develop a golden era. And I've always thought that countries of your size, Jarvis, and I don't mean any disrespect to the size of the country. I'm just saying
small country
that there should be an international football school where you get 30 or 40 children from a similar age, 8 to 12, and their only goal is to represent your country, and it can be done. People will look at it and think, well, and it can be done, and you can develop an international side moving forward just by doing that. And the players that don't make it can then be dispersed off to clubs to have a club career, and you can actually do that. And there is a sound judgment to it to be able to do.
Well, you do it as free agent. You just make them as a free agent. But if you have scouts in those pools, you'll find some top young players. It's like now where you have the Olympics on. That's going to be going on anyway. So many young of those French players, like Elise. I think Elise is going to. I could be wrong. You've got Lenny Yoro, the guy we're targeting right now. He's in the French Olympic squad. Yeah. It's like these sort of systems where it's not like it's not something that UEFA or FIFA have influence over with the Olympic Games, but it's still an international step where young players play football at a decent level. They are on a stage. It is televised. You do see things with young players. The difference is, with a lot of these players, it depends what system you bring them through, and that's why. That's why, like what you just said there with Jarvis and everything with Norway is, if Norway have a clear way of their country how they want to play, we know how Spanish teams play, we know how Italian teams play. You understand the English rhetoric of how England normally play. What's Norway's way of playing, and then like you take the attacking players from one side and put that to one side. Norway aren't going to struggle to score goals for maybe 10 years as a country, but can you keep them out? Can you be defensively resolute? That's where the problems are. And as an FA, that's where you need to come up with a solution. Can we develop? Can we evolve? Like you were just saying before, Javs, about England. Can you evolve?
Yeah, but the thing is, Tom, just to speak 2 minutes about Norway. The problem for Norway, we have always been like a defensive set side, strong, organized. We play a lot of long balls and direct football, influenced by the English football on the 80s and 90s. But now we have this brilliant generation coming through with technical players, as I mentioned, Oscar Bob and Antonio Musa and Odegaard and all of them. And it seems like we are trying to shoehorn them into the old type of football in a way, and we can't utilize the attacking force that's actually in our squad. So for me, I think we need to do something radical and maybe bring in a foreign coach who can bring in new thoughts and maybe do something different. Not the usual 5-4-5-1 strongly organized defensively set up. I think that's the way to go.
That's kind of the way that I look at it with England. I think you can go forward. Maybe new ideas aren't a bad thing, but sometimes you can't develop what you've got with something that's from your own country. You have to have outside input. You have to have outside ideas. You can't just go down the same crop. There's only going to be maybe one superstar manager of a generation that's ever going to bring something good for your country as a whole. So again, Norwegian football, do you ever bring top coaches out of that for like every couple of years? You could argue probably not, but from Spain, every 10 years they always have like a new crop of managers. Italy do the exact same. Thiago Motta, De Zerbi. England do the same. You've had Eddie Howe emerge. Gary O'Neill's like a new bloke on the block. You've always got these new coaches that are going to come through the system. The difference is with Norway, if you can't produce it in your own country, get it from elsewhere then.
Yeah.
That's it.
Maybe we should get Ole as our new manager. Maybe he can.
Yeah, he's out of work.
He
sat there on the sidelines, Jarvis. Counter-attacking football, mate. Yeah,
maybe. I see Lily's coming in almost 1 hour no talking about people always talk about ligt and Garnacho, so it's Man United related. But first of all, we have about 75 to 80 people watching. We are on 43 likes, so that's almost 50%. So people smash the like. We want to have at least 70 likes before we end the show. So smash it and if you enjoy the show. So now just go to the latest news. I have some news here from Rush Mano. Let's see, I want to bring it up. Here we go. It's Florian Plettenberg from I think he's a German Sky reporter, isn't he? He comes in and says FC Bayern are still waiting for the final and concrete offer from Man United for Matthijs de Ligt. There were no concrete negotiations in the last 72 hours, so things are stagnating as it looks. And the agreement between de Ligt and MUFC still stands, with the 24-year-old still keen to join Man United now. As long as de Ligt don't leave the club, it's very unlikely that Bayern will finalize the deal with Jonathan Tah. Sky Sports Germany. So nothing is actually going on. They're waiting for a higher bid from Man United. Stu, what's your take on it? Should we increase the bid on de Ligt? Should we just get it through, or should we just stand our ground?
No, I think 42 million is a fair price for him. He's bounced around, hasn't he, since Ajax. He had injuries at Juventus. He played about 70 times, I think. My memory serves me. If Juventus scored a couple of goals. But I think that if you're if there isn't a willingness to do business from the other club, whoever that may be, then you've really got to say to the player, look, it's kind of up to you now. This is where we are. This is where we value you. We don't think 50 million's fair. Blah blah blah. However you want to put it, and we'll do it. And then go and do what Manchester United are doing in the background and go and tap up Tah. Because if Bayern Munich want Tah, they won't play ball with de Ligt. Go and snatch Tah. I agree with the sentiment within the group chat for that. It actually emerged this morning, hasn't it? That we've asked to be kept informed with the Tah business. So they are playing a better game of negotiation for players at the as the
Mind
player
games.
himself. Yeah, as the player himself, I think we all would know he would be a great asset to the club. People wanted him back in the day when he was at Ajax, and they split that almost all conquering Ajax team up, didn't they?
Yeah, they stripped it down. Yeah.
Yeah, they did. The same happened to Monaco, if you remember, a few years ago with Falcao, etc. And Mbappe and up. And I think I think de Ligt's exactly the type of player we need, and he would be a brilliant foil for Martinez. But the days of Manchester United being told 60 million or nothing has gone now. We got some serious business people, some serious negotiators, some serious deal makers at the club now. And people can. It just is what it is. We have those right people, and so for me, if they're not going to play ball at 42.5. Then okay, see it. We'll go after Tar then instead. We'll get Tar. Up to you. What do you want? Yeah. And that's how you do it nowadays. And I know you're going to talk about Yoro, which obviously Tom will talk about, but that's how you do it. Enough now. And I suggest we do the same with Brandweight. And if de Ligt definitely wants to come, he needs to go to Bayern and say, look, I want to go to Manchester United. Get that deal done. Don't keep me here now. I want it done. And I would imagine he wanted it done before, at a similar time as the Xerxes deal was done. He leaves the Euros, he comes to United, passes his medical sign, and he's off on holiday now, or will go for a couple of weeks somewhere.
But there's two clubs too that wanted to do business.
Exactly. So really interesting to see why Bayern now are stalling. If that is true, that there hasn't been a contact within 72 hours, is that would determine that Manchester United aren't 100% sure they want de Ligt, because you've got to look at it from two
yeah
ways.
but the thing is too, I know what you're talking about, but the thing is we just sold Kambala.
Yeah, well, he's
5
gone.
million plus 10 add-ons or something like that. And we have to be in some way certain that we will bring in a center back.
Yeah, we've got to be proactive.
Selling a talent like him at the moment. So we have to be certain in a way. So I think this de Ligt deal is almost done.
I think what it is, Jarvis. I think what it is, United don't want to fork out 50 million euros, 42 million quid straight up. And all they're doing, they're just trying to negotiate a payment plan. That's all they're doing. So I would imagine it'll be okay. It'll get done. I don't know whether de Ligt's on holiday or not. Don't know where he is or what he's doing. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm kind of, when it comes to Dutch players, I'm more interested in what Van der Kraan has got to say. I think he's a very respected journalist. He called Van Nistelrooy a couple of weeks prior to Ruud even being linked with United, didn't he? He knew what was happening. Same with Ronnie Parker.
Yeah, but you got to respect Florian Plettenberg. Him and Christian Falk is actually pretty good when it comes to the Bundesliga. They have call on everything.
If you want, if you want to follow anything that comes true out of Bayern Munich, Christian Falk's normally a guy that
Christian Falk's your man.
In terms of German football, it can be a little bit hit and miss. But when it's anything to do with Bayern, it's normally concrete. A couple of years ago, when we wanted Sabitzer, he was the only person that put forward that name at all, and then it ended up getting done within like 24 hours. Yeah. The difference with this, guys, I kind of agree with what Stu's saying. I think this is kind of very similar to what we did with Xerxes. I think a fee's there or thereabouts in the region of what both clubs are happy with. I just think they're almost pissing about now, trying to get maybe like, oh, we want to pay over 3 years. We want 2 years or 18 months, and we want the deal done and signed. That's what I think this is kind of at. I don't think it's more about money, because I don't think that it's a bad price that you're paying anyway, reasonably. I think there is a figure that is maybe apart by like 5 million. But I think you can cover that for the sake of, if they want to get Tar as much as they say that they do, I think they'd rather miss out on getting rid of de Ligt as soon as they can, if it means that they'll go and snap up Tar straight away. That's the way that I think Bayern are looking at it. So I think personally, it's just a case of, well, we want to pay over a longer payment plan, like Stu said, because it still gives us the ability to move in the market on another deal, rather than we're not weighed down for now like an anchor at the bottom of the ocean, and we've suddenly got to try and hoist the anchor up by getting some money out of our club, which is what they've done with Kwambala. They're trying to do with Greenwood right now. So that's like, you could argue, 30 million that's coming back into your club, and it's directly from the academy. So you've got 30 million of direct cash. There's none of this of you're making profits and losses on these players. The youth players that's come through, it's better on your books. At the end of the day, I think this whole thing with de Ligt, I'm going to make a personal prediction anyway. I think it'll all be wrapped up by Friday. I really do.
Yeah,
because I think the only reason why I say that is, in the background they want Tar. So if you want to play games with Bayern Munich, and you're a big club, you're Man United now, you've got proper negotiators in place right now. If you want to mess about with Bayern Munich and play mind games with them, just go and say that you want to be informed on a player that they really desperately want. It's one of their main players that they want. Okay, go and mess about and almost play about and say, oh well, we'll just go and get Tar then. You can keep de Ligt. See you later. But we'll go and do a deal. You've got no agreement with Tar. We can go and negotiate with Bayer Leverkusen. We can get him out of there. No problem. Bit more. Yeah, he's got a couple more years. He's got a couple more miles on the clock. Still a decent player. Leverkusen's captain, leadership. It gives you basically what de Ligt wants, but 4 years regressed.
100% Tom, because Bayern Munich didn't fuck about getting Pelini, did they, this year?
Well, there you go. They wanted him a couple of years ago, and it all fell apart.
Didn't fuck about this summer.
That's it. They didn't want to miss the boat now because they know what they were going to buy. They know what they're buying. Yeah. The difference is, this is the thing though. The difference is now, Bayern Munich for me, I think they're in a terrible position, and the reason why I think they're in a terrible position is they've got a player that they desperately want on the open market in Tar, but they can't move for him until they free a spot up in that squad because they're overhauled with centre backs. They've got Dyer, they've got Kim Min-jae, they've still got de Ligt here right now. I'm sure there's a couple more that I've probably not mentioned.
They've got Upamecano, haven't they?
Upamecano's another. There's your four main ones. You have to get rid of one of the four to make a spot to bring in Tar. And Tar, if he goes to Bayern, will want to play. So he's going to have to free up a proper spot in that squad. And the only way that you can free that spot up is you get rid of either Kim Min-jae probably or de Ligt. And one of the two's going, and they've just brought Kim Min-jae, and de Ligt's almost been there a couple of years. And they don't probably feel like he's their kind of player that they want. So at the end of the day, Bayern right now, I'm happy with the way that Man United are doing this right now. Sit on it, and if they don't budge, okay. If you're not going to budge, and if you get to say what I'd do as Man United, right, I'd plan this out for the whole week. I'd say I wouldn't tell Bayern this, but I'd say by Friday, if they don't start playing ball, okay, Saturday morning. I'm ringing up the directors at Bayer Leverkusen. I want to negotiate for Tar. Even if you don't end up buying him, I want to negotiate for him. Let's see what sort of figure. I'm a numbers guy. I'm Omar Barada. I'm CEO of Man United. Let me hear what the numbers are to sign Jonathan Tar. And that will get back to Bayern Munich, and suddenly they'll panic. And they'll think, shit, where's Omar's number? Get the black book out. Where's Omar's number? Omar Barada, Man United. Yeah, this is so-and-so, CEO of Bayern Munich director. Can we negotiate again on Matthias de Ligt? That's all that you have to do. Use the market. This is what I talk about in our club, and I've said about it for years. And people have always listened to me, but I've drummed on about it for years. You cannot sit here and tell me Richard Arnold would do that in this football club. CEO. He wouldn't. He wouldn't even know what director to call at Bayern. Never mind do the deal.
But Tom, I just want to say, for us trying to disturb Bayern by going in for Tar ourselves, wouldn't be counterproductive, because we will actually try to raise the price and interest in Tar, so it will be more difficult for Bayern to get him. And if Bayern don't get him, they won't sign the Ligt.
That's not my problem.
It's like, the thing is, the transfer market as it stands today is like a domino. So let's say, for example, we have agreed a deal for 37 million or 42 million for Matthijs de Ligt from Bayern. And Bayern have had an understanding that they will get Tar for 45, let's say, or 50, and suddenly Leverkusen raised their price to 55. Bayern are 5 million short. Where can I get 5 million? Okay, let's raise the price for Man United, and the domino goes. So if we go in for Tar, let's say, and raise the interest, and
we wouldn't have these
price,
issues,
it will be
Jarvis.
more
I'm sorry.
difficult for
Yeah.
Bayern. So
Yeah. As much as you
you
want
gotta
to
be
say,
clever when it comes to this.
yeah. I understand that you have to be clever, right? But even if you go in with Tar and you look at the deal and you look over the numbers and you think, I'm going to make this isn't a bad deal. You can deal with Bayer Leverkusen. Bayern are in the position that we would be in now if we bow down to their terms, which is we're anchored. We can't move in the market. They are anchored because of the Paulinho deal that they've done, but they've done that deal because he was a player that they didn't want to miss out on. So they thought it's worth the risk of being anchored in the short term in the market, but we've got a top player who is proven that we really, really want. But the difference is now, Tar is a top player who's on the market right now, who clearly will go to another club. And at the end of the day, if you do what I said and you go to Leverkusen and you do a deal there, I don't care if it's Tar, if it's de Ligt. I like both of the players. I think both of the players add something different to what we don't have right now.
But Tar is 28 years old. He's on his last contract.
I
It
understand.
doesn't
I
suit
understand.
the way we want to go with Ineos.
But we've just lost experience. We've lost experience in Varane. You might lose experience in Casemiro. If it's not a deal, Jarvis, that put it this way: if you're not going to pay more money than what you're trying to get for de Ligt right now, I don't think Tar's a bad option. That's my opinion. But if you're going to pay the same sort of figures as what you're paying right now for de Ligt, I don't think it's a no-starter. But with Bayern, at the end of the day, guys, if you can't do deals with people in front of you, okay, ruffle the feathers a bit. Go around the clubs that they want certain players for. The player that they desperately want is Tar. So go and ruffle the feathers. If they don't budge on de Ligt, that's fine. You can easily just get Tar. Or you might get this kid through the door, Lenny Yoro. So then you've got that safety net. You've already got a centre-back in that you want. So at the end of the day, I want Manchester United to do what we haven't done for years. And this is where Bayern, they don't expect this of us. Because we've not moved like this for 10 years, guys. Yeah. We've not moved like this. We don't play these dark arts in football. It happens in football. You go for players. You look at it for so many years, right? We did this thing with Manchester City. But City did this to us. They got linked to all these players, Fred, Jorginho, all these players, guys. Maguire's another one. Did they end up bowing down to what that club wanted? No. And the foolish thing that we did was we did bow down to those demands. We did sign those players, and they turned out to be nothing for us. But then City went off and bought a different toy that maybe we was looking at, but we didn't actually go in for. For example, in midfield, instead of signing Fred, they went and signed a player like Gundogan or Rodri.
Well, we wanted Rodri, didn't we?
This is what I'm saying, though. Yeah. This is what I'm saying. And at the end of the day, the people we have running our club right now are people that Bayern are used to dealing with. But the difference is they aren't used to Manchester United negotiating this sort of way for players. That's the way that I'm trying to work. That's the way that I'm trying to get this across to people. Right. Yeah, they're not used to us doing this. And they're not used to United coming to the table and saying, oh, we want to negotiate. We want to negotiate. We're not used to Man United negotiating. They're used to Man United forking out, shed loads of money. All we used to do, we didn't used to negotiate. We used to bid. That was how our club was run. We bid once, we bid twice. We put all the money down on the third bid and we got the player. That's how we used to work. We didn't negotiate properly for players. We just dragged it out and then we ended up paying what a club wanted anyway.
I mean,
and again, like the Branthwaite thing, if it doesn't make financial sense, it makes footballing sense for the player that you're going to sign. If it doesn't make financial sense, walk away. The Lenny Yoro deal, clearly it makes football and finance sense because you've agreed the deal. You just need the kid to decide what he wants to do. The same thing now with de Ligt. The player wants to come. If Bayern don't want to do business, fine. Go into the market and go somewhere else, guys. I don't care if it's Tar or if it's another top player. Centre-backs are on the move this summer. You're seeing so many of them going here, there and everywhere. And you know something? If we didn't have this UEFA problem with Todibo, guys, I don't even think we'd be sat here in quicksand right now. It'd probably be a Man United player already, and we won't have this issue. But the difference is now, if you get this Lenny Yoro kid, I think Man United are in even a better position with Bayern Munich now. Because what can Bayern do? You've got to play. You've got your safety net. If you want to sign him or not.
This is the latest on Lenny Yoro. While we are on the topic, it's from Madrid Zone. This is from Rush Manu. Always brings me the latest transfer news.
Yeah.
It says that Lille president is pushing Lenny Yoro to join Man United. His preference remains Real Madrid, and it's up to the players. So it's Fabrizio Romano who says this. Come with the statement. So basically, all we know that Lille wants Lenny Yoro to go to United because it means they will get the money. We don't know what Lenny Yoro wants. Real Madrid wants him to wait, and we want the player too. So what do you guys think? Do you think Lenny Yoro wants to join Man United if the price is right? And
do you know something? Yeah, do you know something, guys? With this Lenny Yoro kid, I'm going to be very honest with you. I think he is the next best thing at defence. I think he's whoever he goes to, Madrid, Man United, wherever, he'd probably be at that club 10 years if you develop him properly, and he will be a top player. That's why all these top clubs are prepared to fork out 50, upwards of 60 million euros to sign an 18-year-old kid. That does not happen very often. It would have happened years ago for someone like Mbappe. It would have happened a couple of years ago for someone like Bellingham, Haaland. But these players, they come around maybe every 2 or 3 years, and you might find one of them. But then you have to compete to get them. The difference is now, guys, we have everything done. Paperwork signed, we've agreed a fee.
Yeah, it's all done,
all you need, a contract wouldn't be an issue because he's 18 years old. It's his first professional contract at a high level. So I don't think a contract's going to be bad. The only thing here is you just need the words yes or no to come out of the kid's mouth. That's all that you need.
Yeah, but you know, if I was the agent of Lenny Yoro, I would tell Lenny Yoro, keep your mouth shut.
Okay, and if he wants to do that, Jarvis, as his agent, I'd say, okay, Man United's pulling away then, because I want answers. We are a big football club. We are on par with Real Madrid. This is the way that I think Man United need to word this to this kid. We are the English version of Real Madrid. We have the trophy cabinet. We have the history. We have the legacy of this club. We have the success of it. We also have a future project. This is the project, Lenny Yoro. Selling this football club. As much as you want to say, selling the football club and try and develop it. Try and develop him properly. If you get it, and at the end of the day, if this kid turns around and says, I want to go to Man United instead of Real Madrid, that's the way that I hope then will change how Man United are perceived in the market. When a kid wants to come to Man United over Real Madrid, it's a bigger win if you get that. A top talent wants to come to Man United instead of going to Real Madrid. That's the way that you can use that then in the market to say, well, Man United are here. But the difference is, with Man United, and the way that I portray this to this kid is, we've put our money where our mouth is. We've opened our mouth, Lenny. We've put money on the table. We've agreed everything. We want you to come. Real Madrid are telling you to sit there. They don't believe in you. They don't think you're worth the money right now. Yeah. This is the way that you need to try and play mind games with the agent and everything and say, they're not serious about you. Who's to say in 12 months' time, Lenny, on his agent, you just say this to him, you might shake hands with Florentino Perez. Mbappe shook hands with Florentino Perez and said he was going to Madrid. What did he do 12 months later? He signed with PSG. Do you seriously think that if Real Madrid see another top talent come through France or wherever who's 18 years old, they might go for him instead of you, and then you've wasted 12 months of your career? Do you want to wait around? Like I said, I understand for the kid personally, guys. He's 18 years old. It's a big decision, but at the end of the day, he has to make this decision this week. I'm not sitting there next Monday on Jarvis's Corner talking about if this kid's going to decide he wants to come or not. He has to decide this week. If he wants to come to Man United, the private player.
Give him a deadline or move on.
Yeah, well, the deadline that I would say for this Jarvis, he's away with the Olympics team and everything with France, so I can understand him personally. It's hard to contact. I can understand that. You've got until Friday. I'd tell his agent, today is Monday, you've got until Friday. If we don't hear anything back, we're moving on. If you tell us no, that's fine. We're moving on. If you tell us yes, we'll proceed. And we'll put up and we'll give you the whole schedule, flights, private jet, medical, whatever. We'll send people out to the Olympic Games with him, do a medical for 2 hours or whatever, out of the schedule, done. But at the end of the day, there's one thing. Just make the decision. And if he doesn't want to come, I don't want players who are half-hearted about coming here. I want players who are committed.
See, Tom,
if he doesn't want to commit now, guys, in this week, he's never going to commit. So move on.
I think you've hit the nail on the head already. Real Madrid aren't that interested, because if Real Madrid want a player, they get him. Period.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Camavinga a couple of years ago was that exact same situation.
Yeah,
but they put the money where the mouth is.
Yeah, but Bello was the deal agreed was January, went in the summer. If you remember last year, he was done by June, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Bello was announced in June. It was done in January. If they want a footballer, they will get him. That's it. Period. We want you. Here's the money, and he'd be a Real Madrid player by now. So I'm with you, Tom. I don't think Madrid are that serious. I really don't.
The only reason why I'm saying, I don't think it's. Right. I don't. To be honest with you, I don't think it's that they're not serious about him. I just think they look at it and think he's a top player. He's one for the future, but we can't fit him in. There's not a place for him. We can't bring him in right now when we have 4 solid centre backs.
Aren't they getting rid of Nacho to Saudi?
Yeah, they're getting rid of Nacho. Fair enough, Travis.
But so there's one open spot.
Yeah, there's one open spot, but he's 18 years old and he's playing for Real Madrid. So the pressure of an 18-year-old going into that system, he's not going to play week in, week out. That's the difference. He's going to have a staggered way into that club. Yeah. And the same thing with United, I want him to have the same thing if he comes here, a staggered way into this team, not plays straight away and week in, week out. I want him to be the third choice centre back, who I bring off the bench, 10 minutes to go, squeaky bum time. Give him a couple of games in Europa League, FA Cup, whatever. That's what I want to give this kid. And then maybe after 12 months of adapting and actually settling into this country, because he's an 18-year-old, he needs to settle, guys. When he's maybe 19 years old, okay, if he's good enough, if he's young enough, if he's good enough, you play him. Yeah. And you give him a go, and you give him that opportunity and that chance. But at the end of the day, right now, as it stands, Manchester United have done everything they can for this kid. Everything. So if they walk away from this deal now, it's because this kid believes in this Real Madrid dream and that it's going to happen. But I'm sorry, and I will say it to the kid himself, if Manchester United do end up pulling away, if I'm Berardi or whoever, I will say, in 12 months' time, if Real Madrid don't come and knock on the Leo's door and pay the money and don't get you out of there in January, because you're a free agent, they don't offer you a contract, you are going to regret this. That's the way that you have to. This is the way that you have to be with some of these players in football. You are going to regret this. You don't get these offers often. And like I said, I always make this rhetoric on this show, guys. I'm going to say this last thing anyway. When 4 clubs in European football, guys, come knocking, you have to listen to them. Manchester United, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid and Barcelona. When one of those, because they are the 4 trifectas of England, Spain and Germany. Italy, I think, have fallen off a little bit because there's not a mainstream club in that league
anymore. It used to be Juventus, but
Juventus, that's what I mean. But they've fallen off a little bit now. Those 4 clubs come knocking. You listen to every 4 of them. He has an option to go to 2 of them. One of them's gave him a deal to come right now. The other wants to sit there and say, "Well, we'll see you in 12 months' time." If he stays at Lille and he's not the same player, they won't sign him.
I don't
Gentleman's agreement in football means nothing.
Yeah, I don't think it does, because when a chairman is publicly coming out and stating, "I want you to go," then you go, and it's up to So he could well find himself in a real problem, the kid, because purely based on transfer money. Lille need the money. They can't afford to let a player go. If you can get £50 million, you take it. You take the 50 million. You say, "Sorry, Lenny, we've sold you, mate. You're gone."
That's how it was years ago, Stu. Years ago, when you used to sell a player, when you used to sell a player, we accept an offer. You're gone. I don't care if you like it or not. You go to that club. That's just how it was. I know football's evolved and it's changed, but what you just said there, Stu, his agent has to come into this and say, much as it. This is why I don't understand this for his agent, guys. I really don't, because
it's Mendes.
You have I understand that with Mendes, right? You have a concrete deal. Everything is done and sorted. You can sell your client tomorrow. Man United are going to probably give him a similar sort of wage that Madrid will give him. The only difference is it might rain in Manchester in December, whereas in Spain it might be sunny. That's the difference. But who's on a better? The only thing that I can see that Mendes is put in this kid's mind is it's Real Madrid. I've put Cristiano Ronaldo at that club.
Yeah.
I've worked with the biggest superstars in football, and you will be that superstar. But the only thing that I hope, guys, is even if he came to Man United, if he still has this dream about Real Madrid, I'm not bothered. In 5 years' time, if they're going to come on our, if they're going to knock on our door and say,
guys, I just want to wrap up
80
this Lenny Yoro thing because we need to move on and keep the schedule of the show. I just want to end with Brendan Chappell. He comes in with a great comment. I think this wraps it up. A player is either interested or they are not. We are wasting our time here, and it's just the time to just try our luck. Give them a deadline, move on, see what happens.
Yeah.
I think before we go on to the next, we have one big news here from Rushmano. I just want to remind everybody we are about 90 to 100. Actually, now we are 101 people watching, and we are on 53 likes. That's 50%. Come on, guys.
Go on.
I have a message here from the big boss. Pay attention and watch.
So it's come to our attention that about 90% of you on YouTube have not yet learned how to smash the like button. What? So today, we're going to learn.
No! God,
are you ready?
Please, no! No!
All right.
No! No!
And that is how you smash the like button. Hit the like button. What did I say?
Hit the like button.
Exactly. Don't forget it.
Nice.
I was wondering if you're going to dig that out again. Absolutely brilliant.
That's out of the archive, that.
Smash the like. I will see you. We are on 56 now, so we have a couple of people understood the message.
Get liking.
Smash the like. Because we are slaving in the kitchen here. Talking about Man United.
Yes.
Next news is on Mason Greenwood. It's from Chris Wheeler, Daily Mail Sport. He says Marseille remain favorites to sign Greenwood from Man United in a £32.2 deal. No, euro deal. No, yeah, euro. Despite protests from the mayor of Marseille. So they are remaining a favorite, but there's nothing new going on in that Greenwood saga. Do you think we will sell him?
Yeah, he goes. 100% he goes. I think he'll end up at Lazio. And I think the Lazio chairman's got quite a good angle on this. I mean, he's already said he'll pay 25 million, 32 million euros. And I'll give you a 50% sell-on clause. Because they know what a Greenwood is, and they know the value of the asset of the player. Okay, he knows. Manchester United know you cannot come back. He can come back training, it's no problem, but he can't come back and physically play for the club again. He won't be accepted by a lot of the fans. Everybody knows what it's like. We're all
but the players. What about the players?
Well, you know, footballers aren't the brightest. You know, they like shiny things, don't they? Like jackdaws. They see something shiny, we've got to buy that. We know this. and as footballers, you know, there are times where you got to turn around and say, no, sorry, mate. I can't. Because, you know, we're all fathers. We're all fathers of children.
Yeah,
and it doesn't matter if it's a male or a female. We know what happened. You can't unhear what we heard. You can't unsee what you saw. Okay, it was raw. It was horrible. We're all sickened and horrified.
Yes.
And but it doesn't mean that he doesn't deserve a career in football. Okay, you pay your dues. He got away with it for whatever reason. I think we all know the reason why he got away from it. Her father is probably a jackdaw also, saw a shiny object to the tune of X, Y, and Z in terms of pound notes and took the deal. Okay. None of us can can hold an opinion about that. And it's been done with football, by the way, before. If you remember back in the early 2000s when the young academy lad got shot at Chelsea with Ashley Cole's pellet gun. You know, and I know this is true. I know this is true because the Chelsea club doctor did physio on me once. And I know it's true that when he shot him, John Terry had 25 grand in his locker. And he said, look, to Ashley Cole, you got any money on it? No, here's 25 grand. Give him 25 grand just to shut him up for a start. And then it all escalated. We all know this, don't we, Tom? The family got paid off. We all know that because it was a criminal offence and he didn't get reported. We all know what happens in football. It's been going on for years and it'll go on way after we're dead if there's money in the game. So that aside, if you were to take everything away, peel back everything to Greenwood, the 18-year-old who was bursting onto the Micah Richards scene at Old Trafford, you saw a wonderful footballer. And we know, everybody knows who understands football, what he brings to Manchester United and how he would have enhanced us. There'd be no Anthony in our team. We know all this, so we don't need to. But he can never walk through the dressing room and the tunnel at Old Trafford again and he just couldn't it just wouldn't work in England for him. So they gave him a home at Getafe and Getafe would have him back tomorrow. He would go back to Getafe tomorrow. But Manchester United are now serious people. And serious people means money. And, you know, the guys are coming. Brailsford's come in. Barada's come in. Dan Ashworth's come in. Jason Wilcox has come in. They've backed Ten Hag, and they've cut. You know, they brought in Rude, they brought in Hacker, they brought in the new goalkeeper. I'll just call him Jelly, the new goalkeeping coach. I'll just call him Jelly because I think his name's Yeller, isn't it, or something like that. We brought in new doctors, new physios. All this is happening for a reason, and you can't then bring Greenwood back because it just batters everything you've done. So what do you do with him? So you get the best value deal you possibly can. So as a last resort, and Getafe will know this, as a last resort, we'll take him. Yes, there's a home. We'll have him. If you can't sell him, we'll take him. And then Lazio's looked at it, and he's looked at it and he's thought, right, Marseille are quibbling because of the mayor. Juventus still digging around, but they may be interested in Sancho. Atalanta digging around, but maybe not. I'm going to put in a concrete bid, 25 million quid. I know I can get him for 25 because of the numbers that we've done for Marseille, the deal that was agreed for Marseille, but I'll give you a massive 50% sell. So if I sell him in 3 years' time for 50, 60, 70 million, you're going to do quite well out of it. And we know he's worth that money. And he's, you know, he was Getafe's player of the year. He scored a few good goals. You know, he's coming back. He looks happy in his home life from what we can see, and the images that we can see. He can't play for Manchester United. I could never get behind him. I couldn't do it.
No.
I just couldn't do it. We've all got women in our lives, friends, mums, grandmas. We've all got women in our lives. It's all about morals for me. And I'm sorry. I love football, but it's all about morals for me. So I don't think he goes to Marseille. I think Lazio will push it. Again, it's a chairman that's come out, hasn't it? The Lazio chairman's come out. He's made this public. And so I think he'll end up at Lazio. But he will go. We will sell him.
We will see. We will see what's going on. But for me, I think the Greenwood. We have been speaking about this up and down, and we covered everything when it comes to the Greenwood saga. For now, I'll only keep my focus on the sale. For me, you know, it's 100%. We will get 100% back to the club on the money into the transfer kitty. That will be great because we need money. We know we are. He's
100%.
He's 100%. So it's an important sale for the summer transfer window. And if we can get somewhere in between 30 to 35 millions with a sell-on clause, that would be acceptable in my mind. Even though he's a big talent, but I agree with you, Stu. I think it's I think it's difficult for us to take him back to the club and Man United. It won't be good. It will be too much protests, too much noise around the club, and we don't need that at the current moment.
No,
if he's guilty or not,
yeah.
that's for others to judge. I'm just speaking about how I see the situation as it stands at the moment.
I think you're right. I think that this is the one where you've got to put a balanced head on and a business head on. And everybody knows this. And the buying clubs know, the reputation, and they know the story. And it's, it's whether or not they can deal with it. And I think Lazio will be a good home for him.
It will. It will most likely be. And I think he will be banging on in the Serie A in Italy. He's a good striker, and I think he can score a lot of goals, or winger, or forward, or whatever you want to call him. But I think as he matures, he will become a more of a number 9 than a forward on the sides. I believe so. I remember myself when I saw him. He was 18 years old, I believe, at the time. It was the last game of the season against Cardiff. We played. We lost 2-0 at Old Trafford. Ole was the manager, and he was practicing before the game, shooting on goals, trying to warm up the goalkeeper or something. But he banged in every shot at goal. You could see he's a massive talent. So that guy, player. He's a super player.
But he's tarnished his reputation.
Yeah.
There's some reputations that just can't be cleaned up.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And now in the modern age, I think it's been 2 years now almost, and it won't go away.
Well, we can't forgive him. I can't. We'll never be able to forgive him. So, anyway, like you say, let's move on from him. Let's have a look at Q&As. It's Q&A time. Have we got a Q&A thing yet? Oh, you got one more
thing. I have one more thing. It's just a thing we can speak a little bit about. There's come pictures out now with the Ruud van Nistelrooy talking to a certain player called Rashford. Look at him instructing Rashford. It's very nice to see. Oh, I have to remove the sound.
I quite like that. That's a bit of disco. Yeah. Oh, disco.
But you can actually see a coach of United instructing a player, and Rashford nods his head. Looks like he understands what he's saying. He's giving him instructions. So the topic will be on this.
Do you know what he's doing?
We have Ruud van Nistelrooy in.
Oh, no,
one of the best strikers at the Fergie era. Instructing our forwards.
I don't get.
How do you see this ending? Can we see a comeback from Rashford? Another 30-goal season this year?
Oh God, yeah. Look, you're not learning just from anybody. You're absolutely learning from the very best. In his position, he scored goals wherever he went. Brilliant player, but just knew where to be. Got this sixth sense. Especially when Beckham was crossing or Giggs was crossing, he just knew exactly where to be, and his movement in and around the box, the way he used to play off the shoulder in front of the defender, it was a nightmare walk. He'd jog into positions, and all of a sudden, defenders looking around, and Ruud's peeling away because he's just popped one in the back of the net. His heading ability was excellent. His finishing was just superb. If you're a striker, if you're a Rasmus Højlund, a Zirkzee, how can you fucking? Oh my God, I'm gonna learn off Ruud. Fuck me, Jesus Christ! You walk out there with a grin on your face every day, and your Rashford didn't see a lot, but you could see that Ruud was pointed from left to right. This is where this is where I need you to be, and he's talking about. I would suggest about his attacking of the diagonal again, like he used to when he scored 30 goals. Get it onto your right foot, bang, curl it in, put the whip on it, as much pace as you possibly can in off the far post. Or if not, I tell you where I will be, and where I will be is where Højlund is going to be. He's going to be in that area for you. If you do get your shot off, and it isn't quite right, you can stick out a leg, and he'll be peeling away like Ruud of old. I'm so excited. I thought it was a big career decision for him, massive decision, being a manager at PSV and doing very, very well with that team. You know, is the next up and coming coach. We all know this. To come to Manchester United, not only is it brilliant to have him back, and his Instagram post "I'm home," you know, that affinity that he has with the club is tremendous. But to actually look at his career and think, what's best now for my career moving forward? Okay, to work at Manchester United, he feels it's the best career path for him. Is phenomenal. Same with Rennie Hacker. Go ahead, Eagles. Gets him into the Champions League, and he comes as assistant manager at Manchester United. Amazing.
Yeah.
How it's come about, I'd love to know. Whether Van der Gaag has gone in and said, look, it's time for me to be a number one, as was reported, or whether Ashworth's gone in or Wilcox has gone in and said, you've got to completely redo your coaching team. Who do you want? And he's thought Ruud and Hacker. I'm massively excited about the whole system we put in place. I think it's phenomenal. You know, what Ineos have done in 3 months with this collective that we've done now, it's absolutely phenomenal. But if
Stu, we actually have a new goalkeeper to yell at Ruven.
Yeah, I call him Jelly. Yeah.
Jelly.
Yeah, I just call him Jelly. But again, him as well as you know, everything else has evolved. So for me, if you're Hoyland, I'm going back to Old Trafford. I'll see you later, love. You know, I need to go back. I need to have every minute I possibly can to learn off the maestro that was Ruud van Nistelrooy. I'd be so. And Zirkzee, I wonder how much the Zirkzees decided to come to Manchester United because of Ruud. I you know, as a striker, I would imagine he did. Yeah, absolutely. Clashed with Fergie as well. Ronaldo. He clashed with some big names. It's what you need. You need the arrogance. I'm so excited. Can't wait.
Yeah,
Can you imagine the fucking roar he'll get when he steps out of Old Trafford?
Well, it will. But the thing is with Ruud van Nistelrooy, for me, as I remember him as a player, he was so determined. Every time he received the ball, it was no dilly-dallying. It was like, boom, he knew what to do with the ball. He always was a constant threat on goal. And I would say, I hope that he learns this to Rashford and the other strikers and the forwards, you know, decision making and how to be determined every time you receive the ball, know what to do with it. Don't dilly-dally. You saw Rashford last season in the beginning, every time he received the ball, head down, run with it, and into a 5-man defense alone. Always, you know, and that tells me that he didn't know what to do with the ball before he received it.
Which is amazing, isn't it?
He didn't look around and thought, okay, maybe I run this direction, that direction, I will feint, go that way. He didn't. Only head down, run. So for me, I think that will be one of the most vital things for Ruud to learn the players, the determination I remember he had when he was on the ball.
But it'll also be great because he'll be able to tell the likes of Garnacho, Ahmad, Sancho, Rashford, this is where I want the ball. This is where a striker demands the football. This is the danger area. Phenomenal. Really excited, pal. Really excited.
Yeah. Now the Q&A is coming up. Everybody get your questions in. We have approximately half an hour on the Q&A. We are a little bit behind schedule as usual when it comes to Jarvis's Corner, but we will try to answer as much of questions as possible. So just get them in, and I leave the wheel to Mr. Woolley.
Yes. So, so Q&A. So Johnny K, the main man. Johnny, it's about time you come and joined us, Johnny.
Yeah.
You're more than welcome to join us.
Johnny, if you're available next Monday, let me know.
Let us know. Yeah. Here's a question for you all. When was the last time Leach conceded a goal when on the pitch? Wow. I can't remember. Johnny K is the maestro when it comes to trivia. Absolute maestro. So I'm not 100% sure on that one. If anyone can help us out in the Brendan, you're very knowledgeable. If you can help us out, then please let us know. We won't forget your question.
Wasn't he on the pitch when Manchester City scored in the FA Cup final?
He would have been, I think, or yes, he probably would have been. Yes, so it probably would have been that. I'd forgotten it so long ago since we did that. Thank you for your question, Johnny, as always. But do please come and join us. Question for me, Stu, if we get Yoro, Ligt, and Gutierrez, how do you see our back four lining up? So me and Jarvis spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, and we're of the opinion it could well be a three at the back situation.
Yeah.
With Ligt playing centrally, and then potentially Yoro and Ligt either side.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Tom made a point about he wouldn't want to see Yoro come straight in. He'd like to see him as a backup. I think if we are going for Yoro and Yoro chooses Manchester United, if there is this choice going on, which people are saying there is, there'll be an expectation of play. And so we believe, we thought it would be, and actually if we get a Carter, then having a three at the back with two wing backs would help with the potential to play two up top with Zirkzee and our good old friend Højlund. Or Rashford and Højlund, or Zirkzee and Rashford. That gives you that option, because we know there'll be a three of a Carter and Rabat, maybe Mino and Bruno. So having Yoro, Ligt, and our good old Leacher, plus Maguire, gives for the first time Ten Hag an ability to be able to structure a team to suit the opposition, which we haven't had. So I think that'd be a brilliant three at the back. Will be very, very tough to beat with those three, with a back three. If we go with a back four, then you would consider that there'd be Luke Shaw, obviously, and I would go with Dalot on performance from last season, although I prefer Wan-Bissaka. And then you would argue the best pairing would be Ligt and Martinez. That would be my thoughts.
I basically agree with what you're saying. Ligt, and Yoro would be a fantastic back three. I would actually like to see us moving on to the 3-4-1-2 or
you're a fan of that system, aren't you?
Yeah, actually, you saw Spain doing a lot of this. You have the two strikers with Morata and Olmo, and how they rotate with the wingers all the time, creating space. And just going a little bit back to the Euros final, how Southgate didn't see that, because every time he opened up space, the in between the midfield and the defense. In between the lines, and Spain was brilliant into doing this and turning and facing the England goal, and you can see them just passing those balls and getting those runners moving on the ball, usually on the opposite side of the defender. That was excellent, and this is how you actually play good attacking football. And the only way to stop it is to play compact, play with the box midfield, and invert your wingers as extra midfielders. So we basically play with 6 people in the central area just to block out that central area.
So that would work well with Luke Shaw on the left and Dalot on the right. Bruno in behind your front two, whoever they're likely to be. So that does mean, though, everybody, that Garnacho might not get the game time that you want, that Sancho might not get the game time that you want. But it does, again, let's be clear, it gives Ten Hag the ability to run 4 at the back or run 3 at the back. So I think it's brilliant. Mark, thanks. Royden, thanks for your question. We've answered that. Mark is coming with a question. Can I ask the panel, who are the players that are going out of United to raise funds? So he's talking so that we can bring players in. What's your thoughts on that one?
We can give this to Tom. Tom is back.
Tom, are you back? Tom? Yeah, you can take that one, Pat. Take that one.
Who are the players who are going out of United so far to raise the
Yeah.
funds to get the new players to bring in?
I'm just thinking of that. Well, right now you'd probably say Kumbaba's already gone. Greenwood's going, I think, at some point. I'm in the same boat as Stu. I think he'll go Lazio, Marseille. I don't really think it matters. I think he's just going to go inevitably anyway, and they'll get 25 million for him.
Yeah.
I think they want. I think they're going to try and sell Lindelof.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll sell both Lindelof and Maguire just because of what happened last season. I do think they want a bit of security and stability while they can maybe move personnel around in the next couple of windows and then get rid of both. I think the plan's to get rid of both of them inevitably, but Maguire, I'd probably say. Casemiro again, if Saudi Arabia can actually knuckle down with people over in the Gulf and do a proper deal. I don't think it's hard to. I don't think it's hard to do. I don't think it's bad to do. We know they'll pay the money. Just don't be ridiculous with it. I think what we've said before, guys, about in the ballpark of 40 million. I think it's fair for what I think comparison to what Liverpool sold Fabinho for a couple of months ago and stuff, and Ruben Neves from Wolves. So I think it's reasonable, to be honest with you. That's just where I can see probably out of the main bulk of the squad right now where money's coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah. So far, just to sum up what we have done this season, Mason Greenwood is going for around 31 with the 50% sell-on clause. We know, but where we don't know yet. So we will have that money coming in. Willy Kambala 10 million with the sell-on and buyback clause. Alvaro Fernandez 6 million, rising to 9 million with the sell-on and buyback clause. Donny van de Beek 500k, rising to 5 million, and even potentially 20 million with some fantasy add-ons. And Rafael Varane and Anthony Martial off the wages. That's 21 million saved on the books.
You forgot Forsen. Forsen went for 8.
Yes, Forsen. We have
Forsen went for 8 mil. Most it flew under the radar a bit, that one, didn't it? But yeah, Forsen's gone for 8. Yep. Mark, we've kind of gone through the Greenwood thing. We all think Greenwood will go. We've got no issues with that.
Yeah.
Brendan, it's not a silly question. It's a really good question. And I'll hand this one to you, Jarvis. So Brendan's right, really. What track record do Marseille and Lazio have of selling and getting big fees for certain players? It's a great question. And the answer is very, very simple. They don't have a great track record of selling players for any type of fee. But we're in a situation where the market's going to be very limited for Mr. Greenwood. And I think sometimes you've just got to be able to take what you get. But didn't
Lazio have that Milinkovic-Savic guy that we were trying to sell? He didn't go for anywhere near. That was about 80, 90 million. But
he was right. He never went for that money. They wouldn't sell him. They wouldn't sell him.
So they're not a selling club, as it looks.
Yeah, I don't believe they're a selling club.
No. The problem is the clubs that are quote unquote selling clubs. I don't think a lot of them are looking at this and think. I think they probably look at it and think it's a brilliant financial decision because if he works out to be the player that he's hyped up to be, you'll get a lot of money for him. But if it doesn't work out, you've got the situation of the personal stuff that's happened that you've got to contend with, and you've got to hold the backlash that you will have as a club. Like you said before, the Marseille mayor is completely against the deal. He wants it aborting and botching. So politics has to play its part in it as well, wherever he goes. I think the best thing that United can really hope for in this situation is, I think they just get the most money that they can get for him, which if that's 25 million, fine, take 25 million.
Yeah, agreed.
Send him to Marseille or Lazio. It doesn't matter because neither of them are renowned for top sales in clubs. But the difference is, if he goes there for, say, 2 years and he does what he did at Getafe for this season and his stock rises and rises and rises, one of the big hitters in Europe, I think personally, if I'm going to make a cut-edge judgment. I think in Spain we'll take a risk on him. I think someone like an Atletico Madrid, they will pay top money for talent. They did it with João Felix before. They did it with Rodrigo de Paul before. I've seen this story before with that football club. They will pay top European money to go and get a top talent in football. And if Greenwood's stock rises in that league, well, then you can say, well, he can do it in the Premier League because we've seen it. He can do it in Spain because we've seen it against us. And he can do it in Italy. He's an adaptable player. And if your club can just get past the personal situation that happened, or you're prepared to hold the backlash of it, then he'll go to that club. That's just what I think, guys. But
yeah,
I don't see a world in 2 years' time where he'll go for 80 million. I don't. I think you sell him now for 25. I could reasonably see a club maybe pay 60, something like that. I can see something like that. Maybe 60. So you might make another 30. So then out of all of it, you've got like £55 million in like 2 years for him.
There's money there for him. There's definitely money. You know, he if he carries on. I mean, look, if he carried on in the vein at Manchester United and nothing had happened with his girlfriends, we'd be talking about 100 to 120 million quid for him, wouldn't we? We all know.
Oh, nobody touched him, Stu. You wouldn't have that. You wouldn't have that problem. Nobody would touch him.
No, yeah, no.
He'd be like our Yamal.
Yeah,
you tie him down for long years.
It'd be worth so much money. So, thank you for that, Brendan. I hope that sounds. And it's a great question, mate. It's a brilliant question. Actually, it's one of the best questions we've had in a long, long time.
Good question.
Quick one for you, Jarvis. Now bringing Martin Kane as defensive coach. Well, I'd
rather go for Mano's suggestion, bringing in Jaap Stam as defensive coach. That would be brilliant into the Dutch team, United legend, apparent hard man coming in with lots of experience, actually being a manager himself. I think that's the best.
Yeah, most definitely.
Excuse me.
Rene Hack's supposedly going to do that, though, isn't he, guys?
Yeah, he will hack it.
Yeah. Guys, we've got a question here from our good friends over the Football Power Hour.
Puppy.
Yeah, he's brilliant. It's, again, another great question. What does VTech have to do to improve on? I've not seen a lot on him, so I can't really go into specifics on that one, Pappy. But apparently he had a decent game today because he was well peppered with shots. But it's worth pointing out that Rosenborg are halfway through their season. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
so they're in match form, all of them.
I wouldn't pay any attention to today's results whatsoever. But do you know much about VTech, either of you two? Could you help Pappy out with that?
Today, I see on FootMob he gets a 7.9 out of 10.
Well, that's good
for the game. 7 saves, 1 goal conceded. Actually pretty good, I would say. People and he had like recoveries, high claim throws, saves inside the box. Yeah, looks good, but he's 20 years old, and I think Onana is our first choice. So the best thing we can do for VTech is to loan him out, so he will get some experience to develop and bring on his career further, because he won't get any game time for Man United this season.
No, I agree. And I mean, Bayer Deer hardly got any game time last season, did he? So I think he has a choice to make personally. Although I didn't think he had a great Euros. And by the end, he played a couple of times. So we've got one more question, and that is all, which is surprising because normally there's loads of them. But anyway, last question, because Tom's had to pop off. So is Maguire staying? Mad Ice, I think he I think he probably will do, but if somebody came in with 30 million quid, I think they'd move him on. I was absolutely convinced. I'm still not 100% unconvinced he won't join Max Kilman at West Ham. I think he'd be brilliant for West Ham, or maybe Southampton or Ipswich might look at him for some Premier League experience, defensive experience, which they need. So I think he probably does stay. I think out the two, they want to move Lindelof on rather than Maguire.
Yeah, but Stu, who do you rate? Who is the best centre back out of Lindelof and Maguire?
Oh, Harry, I rate Maguire.
So, I think we will be better off selling Lindelof and keeping Maguire on, as long as Maguire accepts, let's say, being fourth choice.
That's the point. Yeah. If I'm Lindelof, I'm instructing my agent to get me out to Roma. Seriously, I think he'd be perfect at Roma, or perfect in Atalanta, maybe even Lazio, somewhere like that. I think he'd be perfect for. I
would actually see him really playing really well at the club, as, for example, Everton, West Ham.
Yeah, or you could use him for the Branthwaite deal if you still want to pursue Branthwaite. You could say, look, we'll throw Lindelof in. I think he's a great defender, Lindelof, but I think out the two you would keep Maguire for sure.
Yeah. How is Maguire's contract looking? I think it's due in 2027. So we have
due in 2027. Yeah. And
he has 189,900 a week.
But he's, Maguire's one of those that has faced adversity, said fuck you to it, and come through it. Whether people like him or not, whether they think he can't defend or not, whether they think he's too slow or not, he became more reliable than others. Varane with his injury, as an example. Leach with his injury, for example. Luke Shaw with his injuries, for example. Maguire, yes, he had a couple of injuries, but he was still there, and I think he ended up. What did he end up playing last season for us? 27 games.
Yeah,
it was a lot. It was a lot, wasn't it? So I think out the two, I would keep Maguire for sure. So, guys, I think we're gonna be kind of on time, Jarvis, by virtue of there was only 10 questions. So I'll hand it back to my old mate to close the show. There was one other question from Jarwick, but that's up to Jarvis if he wants to ask that or not. I have seen it. I
don't want to create any drama. Let's just.
Yes, it's not something we can bring up, pal. But I mean, if you have got a question and you want to ask a question football related, old pal, please do.
I just got one big news here from Rushmano. Rushmano keeps count on everything that's going on in the world of football, and he always sends me the latest updates. So this is from Rushmano, coming in right now. It's 5 minutes ago. Atletico Madrid are now advancing for Julian Alvarez, and they are already negotiating. The striker is willing to leave Manchester City if he wants a greater role. So Manchester City are moving on from Julian Alvarez.
Well, I think City are in a bit of a conundrum for the first time in years. There's Edison rumblings, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
There's Kevin De Bruyne rumblings. That's even talking about a breakdown in relationship with Guardiola, Saudi Arabia. Julian Alvarez is effectively asked to leave. This has been going on for a while, story-wise. And he'd be a great fit for Atletico Madrid because they've moved Morata on today, haven't they, to AC Milan?
Yeah, but I believe that means that Olmo is going to Manchester City, and he's a great player.
Well, I like Olmo. I like Olmo. I do, but and his release clause is cheap.
Yeah.
But it's got to be done by this Friday, hasn't it? 55 mil.
This week.
Is that right?
Yeah, Friday or Monday. I'm not sure, but at the end of this week.
He's not been linked with anyone, though, has he?
He was linked, I would say, a week ago.
We apparently showed some interest, but there's something not right at City at the minute. There's something.
Barada is leaving.
Well, I mean, Barada knew where to go, didn't he? He knew exactly what to do. No, I just there's something not quite It doesn't sit right, does it, with City at the minute? Well, I'm wondering. I'm wondering if are the players comfortable with what's happening with these charges? We haven't heard anything about them suing the Premier League, have we?
Mm-hmm.
When
No.
that finished 3 weeks ago. That we don't know where we are. Something's not. Mark's in the chat. Something's not sitting right at City at this point in time. And Alvarez moving on, I think, is a bit of a surprise. Ederson, they're okay with Ortega, apparently.
Yeah,
I hear they're okay with Ortega. Carl Walker potentially was going to leave for Bayern Munich, wasn't he? There was chat that Bayern Munich would come back in for Walker. Something's not. It's not gelling at City, is it?
No.
Something not quite right. It's just my opinion, Jarvis. It's just a feeling I've got. I could be wrong.
You could be wrong, but we never know when it comes to City. You know, we have, and they have an aging squad. You know, we the Kevin De Bruyne, Walker, as you mentioned. People are
talking about Rodri.
Yeah.
Now that's a player that could have the pick of his clubs.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you want to go, Rodri? Where do you want to go? He could have the pick of his clubs, couldn't he? If Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid came in, totally agree. He could have the pick of his clubs. So Alvarez, I think, will be a good buy for Athletic. I know, again, unpopular opinion, but I don't know about you, but I thought Morata was superb. I thought his centre forward play was brilliant. I really did.
I agree, but I think this is a
He's not a goal scorer, is he?
This is a new era of strikers, and this is how strikers will operate going forward, because everything is about the system, and it's not about being a goal scorer. As number 9, you have to be the hardest working player on the pitch.
I thought he was excellent, Morata. I've got to be honest, it surprised the hell out of me, because we've seen Morata in the past. He's been woeful, but he put a good account of himself up. So, yeah, look, I think you're right. I think it's a great move.
Morata apparently signed for AC Milan tonight.
Gone today.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty. Mark might be able to tell us, but I think it's pretty much agreed. And he's gone for a steal, 10.9 mil. 10.9 mil. It's a fucking steal. He's just won the European Championships again. You see people talking about Morata. He was. I was really surprised. You're right about Dani Olmo. I think if he goes into City, I agree with you, pal. I think he's a wonderful player. Is he at Leipzig at the minute?
No.
Oh no, sorry. They're saying Bayern or Leipzig.
Salzburg.
So is it Salzburg? Is he?
I think so. Salzburg, and Bayern or Leipzig for Olmo, according to Rushmano. So yeah, I believe so, 100%.
His goal,
I would actually go for. If we are, let's say, hypothetically selling Bruno, I would love to have Olmo as our number 10.
I thought they were. I agree with you. I thought the Xavi Simons link, because we're linked with Xavi Simons, aren't we? I'm here. Rushmano might be able to help us out with on that one, but I don't know.
Yeah, we are.
I thought Brendan played for Leipzig. I thought he did. But I agree with you on Olmo. I think he's a great player. His goal though in the semi-final, the way he took that down was superb. I mean, it was
almost like Dennis Bergkamp, how he
that's exactly right. Exactly right. Took it down brilliantly. So, that'd be interesting. So I think watch the space with City. I really do. I don't know why. I've got nothing to back it up with. I don't hear anything in my sports journalists, era. So.
Yeah, we will see. We will see what's going on. I think Mick or Mark will come into the latest transfer news in the morning. Mark always goes on his channel, at least. I think it's 9 p.m. So guys, just tune in to Mark.
You know what I do, Jarvis? I come back from the gym at 8 o'clock. I get my laptop open. I have my tea and my biscuits, and at 9 o'clock I put on Mark, and I have Mark on in the background while I'm working. So I don't get involved. So I do watch you, Mark, and I do watch you, Mick. So, but I can't, because I've got things to do. So I do watch the lads. Yeah, I do. They are good.
So I think that will be the end of the show. We are 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 20 seconds into the show. We are on 71 likes, so we reach our target of 70 likes. That's perfect. Thank you everybody for hitting that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, and if you like what you saw, please subscribe and hit that bell so you will get a notification next time we go live. I will thank the brilliant VAR room, the live chat, bringing in questions after questions and comments on everything. The knowledge level on this VAR room is fantastic. You know more of football than me and Stu and Tom together. So you are brilliant. Thank you, everybody.
And we know a little bit, don't we? Just a tiny bit, but we know a little bit.
Well, yeah. I keep an eye on Man United.
Actually, guys,
from time to time.
Before we go, I need to choose a pair of 5G boots or Astro trainers. And if any of you know your stuff, I like my Adidas World Cups and my Copa Mundials, but I need some kind of trainers because a lot of the pitches this year are going to be on this new 5G where we play in Worcestershire and Bromsgrove. I don't know why. And so I was looking at the Predator 94 OGs. So if any of you like football boots and trainers, and I'll be interested in your opinions next time, next Monday.
After the show.
Or after the show.
Leave a comment in the comments.
I was looking at the Predator 94s. They're on the Adidas website, and I do like them. Do you know Adidas's Prime? Yes. Yeah. I don't like the colours of them. I didn't like the bright yellow ones. I'm not really sure on the bright blue, but I like all black with white. Now, interestingly enough, back in 1994, I had the original Predators, the Craig Johnson design Predators. So these boots, these kind of trainers are in that design. So please, I'd be interested in your thoughts. Anything like that. And moving forward, by the way, if there's topics you want us to discuss, if there's anything you want to throw in there, favorite moments of football, please let us know, because we love talking about nostalgia as well, me and Jarvis.
Yeah, we do.
We love talking about
You're old men, that's all we have.
We are old men. We're getting older. We're getting older. Look at that, Jarvis. It's going great.
Oof. Yeah, looky here.
Wow, yeah. You can carry it off though, can't you?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, it was Jarvis's birthday last week, so a big happy birthday to my good old mate Jarvis for last week.
Thank you, Stu. Thank you. When it comes to football shoes, I would actually say for me, I always play with Nikes because
the
Nikes was better for my foot, and in the 90s, I played with Kelme. Do you remember Kelme?
Oh my life, Kelme! Crikey, they had the big K on the side, didn't they?
Yeah.
You guys had the big N, and Kelme had the big K. I remember Kelme.
I think it's Italian or something like that.
It's an Italian band. Back in the day, when I was growing up, it was always Adidas. But I had this, and you'll laugh at me, Jarvis, because you know what I'm like. I had this pair of Puma Stepstar footy boots back in the 80s, and I had them because Arthur Albiston wore them. But they were lovely black with a nice Puma stripe. Then underneath the sole was bright orange. It was like bright orange. But I had this little instep thing, so it protected your kind of inner foot. So but I've always worn Adidas.
I have one confession, Stu. In the 80s, I had a pair of shin pads, and it was Ian Rush shin pads.
Oh God, you are brave. You are brave saying that on this channel. Ian Rush, get him on.
Wow. Something I inherited, when
I know.
Well,
well, back in the day, we did inherit stuff, didn't we? We had to inherit stuff.
Yeah,
parents didn't have the money. Not just now, Mark's talking big here when he talks about Diodora. So Roberto Baggio, Michel Platini. Platini was also Patrick as well, by the way. I used to wear. I had a couple of pairs of Patrick when I was going through, but yeah. So if you've got any thoughts on footy boots and you want to talk about footy boots or the latest micro shin pads or anything like that, please talk to us, because me and Jarvis love talking about stuff, don't we? Like that. Anything you want to know, we really do.
Before we wrap it up, we love the long guys. There's one update from Rushmano, and here it is. It's from Graham Bailey. Our beloved Graham Bailey comes in and say exclusive. The FA wait on Gareth Southgate's decision. Sources expect him to leave.
Do you know?
2 minutes ago.
Do you know the grass isn't always greener on the other side? I love people's opinions on football. Everybody sees it differently, and that's why I love it. But if you get somebody in and we go and we're starved of European finals, World Cup semi-finals over the next 4 years to 8 years, I wonder what people will think. I'm not being facetious. I'm just. It's all I'm saying. It's all I'm saying. So,
we will see. We will see how it goes. But if he's going to resign or move down, now is the time.
Did you see what Stephanie said? In rush hubcaps or shin pads. Brilliant. She's brilliant. Absolutely. No, but my point being though, you spoke about, well, with the team that we've got, we couldn't even get to qualify for the European Championships, let alone get anywhere near the final. So you'd be happy, wouldn't you? Is I guess what I'm saying. Don't worry, Mark. I don't wear micro shin pads at all. No. But I did have Manchester United shin pads when I was 8, and they were great. But they weren't really shin pads; they were just pieces of plastic with foam in, and you had to get laces. Yeah, you had to get laces and tie them around your calves. I tell you, they were terrible, absolutely terrible.
I bought new shin pads for my son. They're like almost like a sock that you just put on.
Yeah, so the best. So yeah,
but they're really good protecting his.
Yeah, so the best shin pads now. You can pay about 80 quid for shin pads now. And the best shin pads are they're about that size.
Yeah.
Go over your shin, then you put a nice sock around them. But the sock is quite a nice breathable material, so they're about the best.
No, but they're just like small pieces of armor sewed together, so they're soft, but they protect.
Oh yeah, so we don't have those so much in the UK.
They were about 80 quid, so they were quite expensive.
Yeah, we don't have those so much. Mine were about £80. My shin pads. But to be fair, last season somebody hit me hard, and I've got quite a gash still on my shin where he hit me. So I've got a nice little scar down the front of my right shin.
You play Sunday league football. That's the most dangerous sport in the world.
Well,
you might just
we play
like bullfighting or something.
Yeah, we play weekend football. Actually, it's ridiculous because we sometimes play Saturdays afternoons. Because we're affiliated to a semi-pro club in Tipton Town. It's when we can play with them at home, but it might change a little bit now. So, but I might have news for you in a couple of weeks. Reference at Worcestershire County, whether or not I go and play for Worcestershire County. I might have some news for you on that one in a few weeks. I don't know yet, but still playing. I'll be 55 next year, so I'm still playing. So I'm happy about it.
Impressive. You're a machine, Stu. Stu the
I
machine.
like to. Well, my missus thinks I'm a waste of space. I came home yesterday. It was an afternoon game, so I came home yesterday. I was like, "You can hardly walk. What's up with you? Give up. Just give up." Anyway,
you will be forced to resign one day.
One day you got to retire. Yeah,
you got to retire. You got to retire. So now we have to retire the show.
Yeah, sorry.
2 hours, 20 minutes into the show. I don't know what to say. I want to thank everybody for coming on. Thanks to Tom. He had a phone call. He needed to go. Thanks to Stu. Thank you, Stu, coming in, being my co-host as always. Brilliant with the Q&A. Thanks to the VAR room, and thanks to Mick actually for providing me this platform to give you guys Jarvis's Corner. So on that note, we will end for this time. And guys and girls, remember to hit the like, subscribe, leave a comment in the non-live section, and we will see you next Monday, 9 p.m. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for stopping by and watching MUFC Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.